The derelict starship floated in silence. For centuries it had drifted through the void of an abandoned system, its massive hull scarred by old wars. The vessel was colossal, larger than most cities on Earth, yet it was lifeless, cold, and forgotten. Its name had once inspired fear across the stars. Valteran, warship of the ancient Valian dominion, a race long since extinct. But now, it was nothing but a tomb of metal. Many species had tried to claim it. The Celt scavengers tried tearing into its hull with plasma cutters, but the ship's armor resisted even their strongest blades. The Doro engineers attempted to connect their own systems into its power grid, but every attempt ended in burned-out circuits and dead technicians. The proud Zalari Empire even sent a full team of scientists to study its engines for a decade. They left empty-handed, declaring it a dead relic of a dead people, so the galaxy moved on. The Valtoran drifted quietly, mocked as a useless monument. To most, it was nothing but wasted scrap, but not to humanity. The Discovery captain Elias Ward stood at the bridge window of his exploration ship Resolute, staring into the void. His grizzled face carried the marks of years spent in deep space. He had fought pirates, charted new systems, and survived ambushes that should have killed him. But he had never seen anything like this. "There it is," whispered one of his crew. The Valteran loomed in the distance like a sleeping titan. Its jagged hull caught the faint light of the system's dying sun. Whole sections of armor were missing, revealing twisted metal bones beneath. Yet despite the damage, the ship radiated power, a silent, haunting presence. Elias crossed his arms. "That thing, it's a graveyard." But beside him, Ava Lynn leaned forward with wide eyes. She was young, barely into her 30s, with oil-stained fingers and a restless mind that never stopped searching. Unlike most engineers, she didn't see wreckage. She saw puzzles. "Captain," she said, almost breathless, "do you realize what this is? That ship isn't dead. It's waiting." Elias raised an eyebrow. "Waiting? Ava, that thing's been floating here longer than humanity's been in space. Every alien empire gave up on it." "Because they were looking at it the wrong way," Ava replied. "They tried to force it open. But look here." She pointed to the faint lines of conduits running along the hull. "The energy systems are still intact. Not active, but dormant. The Valian built redundancies, and I think they're layered in a way that looks familiar, almost like early human fusion grids. If I can reroute power through our own systems, we might get a response." Elias frowned. "And if you're wrong? Then we waste a few weeks." Ava grinned, smudging grease across her cheek. "But if I'm right, we bring a legend back to life." The first steps, the crew of the Resolute docked their small ship against one of the gaping wounds in the warship's side. The airlock hissed, and for the first time in centuries, humans stepped aboard the Valteran. The corridors were massive, built for a species taller and broader than humans. Dust floated in zero gravity, disturbed only by their boots. Strange alien glyphs marked the walls, their meaning long forgotten. Most of the crew shivered at the sight, but Ava was electrified. She moved quickly, scanning panels, tracing conduits, and whispering excitedly to herself. "This design, look at it." They thought in loops, not straight lines. Energy isn't distributed linearly. It's recursive. That's why the aliens couldn't make sense of it. They kept trying to map it like their own grids. "Which means what?" Elias asked, following her through the dark halls. "Which means we can." Ava smiled. "Humans are messy thinkers. We improvise. We patch, we reroute, we duct tape things until they work." "That's exactly what this ship needs." Elias gave a dry chuckle. "You're saying this warship was waiting for a human mechanic?" "I'm saying this warship was waiting for someone stubborn enough not to quit." The Awakening, they set up camp in what was once the engineering deck. Giant reactor towers loomed overhead, silent and cold. The team connected portable generators to the alien conduits, carefully following Ava's instructions. Every spark of life seemed like a miracle, panels flickering faintly, lights humming for the first time in ages. At first, nothing worked. Circuits overloaded. Energy surges fried their equipment. Elias was ready to call it quits, but Ava refused. Night after night, she worked alone in the dim glow of emergency lights. She sketched diagrams on scraps of metal. She welded human connectors into alien sockets. She cross-wired power through conduits that no alien had ever dared to touch. One night, Elias found her asleep on the floor, clutching a half-burned cable like a child holding a toy. He almost told her to give up. But then he saw the faint pulse in the reactor core, the first heartbeat of the warship. And so he let her dream. The heartbeats. Again, it happened suddenly. Ava rerouted one last connection, patched through a stabilizer from the Resolute, and flipped the switch. The ship groaned. The floor rumbled beneath their feet. Lights flickered along the corridor, glowing with alien colors. Deep within the warship, ancient engines stirred like sleeping beasts woken from slumber. The crew gasped as a low hum filled the halls. Panels lit up, glyphs flashing alive. Energy surged through conduits, flowing like rivers of fire. "It's working," Ava shouted, her face glowing with triumph. "She's alive!" But then a new sound joined the hum. A voice. The walls vibrated with deep, broken words in a forgotten alien tongue. The ship was speaking, its artificial intelligence awakening after centuries of silence. The crew froze. Elias placed a hand on his weapon just in case. "What's it saying?" he asked. Ava shook her head, listening. The words were incomprehensible, but the tone was not. The voice wasn't angry. It was cautious, curious, almost welcoming. "She doesn't recognize us," Ava said softly, "but she knows we brought her back." Elias stared at the glowing panels around them, the living ship reborn under human hands. For the first time, he felt something more than awe. He felt destiny. The sleeping Titan wakes days passed, and the Valtoran grew stronger. Each system Ava restored revealed another secret. Shields hummed faintly. Engines growled with restrained power. The ship's AI, once fragmented, began to form coherent patterns. The crew no longer spoke of it as the wreck. They called it her, but whispers spread beyond their small team. Other human ships picked up strange energy signatures in the system. And out there, across the stars, alien eyes turned toward the old warship once more. The Valtoran was no longer silent. She was waking. The Valtoran no longer drifted quietly. Its colossal hull gleamed faintly as power coursed through its alien conduits, and the deep hum of engines echoed like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. Human engineers and spacers had done what others thought impossible. They had awakened a relic of a long-dead empire. Captain Elias Ward watched the ship from the Resolute's bridge, his arms crossed, jaw tight. The feeling was strange, pride mixed with unease. He had led many dangerous missions, but none like this. This was no longer just exploration. This was history in motion. Ava Lynn worked tirelessly inside the ship, her fingers dancing over alien consoles, her mind moving faster than any algorithm could. She was no longer just repairing. She was learning the ship, understanding the ancient AI, and merging its forgotten technology with human ingenuity. "Captain," Ava said, her voice crackling through the comm, "I think she's ready." Elias glanced at her on the monitor. Her face glowed with excitement and grime, her eyes bright with a mix of fear and triumph. "Ready for what?" he asked. "To show the galaxy what humans can do," she replied. The arrival of the aliens didn't take long for the galaxy to notice. News of humans restoring the Valtoran spread like a supernova. Alien fleets that had once mocked the derelict as useless now feared it. The Valen may have been gone, but their ship was alive, and humans were in control. A massive coalition of alien fleets moved toward the system. Their leaders believed that humans, still young in the art of space warfare, could not possibly handle the ship's full potential. They underestimated the human mind. Elias stood on the bridge, staring at the radar screens as blips of enemy ships grew larger. "They think this is just a toy," he said grimly. "Let's show them what humans can do." Ava's voice came over the comm again. "Shields online. Weapons charging. Hull integrity at 98%. The AI is cooperating." Elias grinned. "That's what I like to hear." The first test of power. The alien fleets arrived in a tight formation, their warships bristling with weapons. They opened fire, confident that the humans would crumble. But the Valtoran was not a normal ship. It moved with surprising agility for its size, its alien engines enhanced with human modifications. Energy weapons that had been silent for centuries flared to life. Ava took a deep breath. "Captain, we have one chance to make them understand." "Do it." The Valtoran unleashed a pulse from its core, a shockwave of energy that rippled through the enemy formation. Alien ships were thrown into disarray, shields overloaded, weapons jammed. Those who survived the initial blast tried to regroup, but human tactics were clever, unpredictable. Elias gave orders with precision. Vector 3, circle around the left flank. Ava, fire the forward pulse when I give the signal. The humans worked together as one mind with the ship. Alien commanders were stunned. Their centuries of experience could not predict the human approach. Improvisation, intuition, and sheer stubbornness had created a weapon they could not comprehend. Ava's genius shines inside the Valtaran. Ava manipulated the ship's systems like a master musician playing a complex instrument. Where alien engineers had failed, she succeeded, turning weaknesses into advantages. A damaged weapon array, once thought useless, now fired with increased power after she rewired the conduits. A failing shield generator was rerouted to cover critical points, protecting the hull from massive blasts. Elias watched in awe as humans and the ancient ship became one. You see that, Captain? Ava said, pointing to the main display. The AI isn't just cooperating. It's learning from us. It trusts human decisions, Elias nodded. And that trust is going to make us unstoppable. Turning the tide, the alien fleets were in chaos. Their attacks were precise and overwhelming, but human unpredictability combined with the Valtaran's firepower shattered their formations. One by one, their ships were disabled or destroyed. Elias's voice rang through the bridge. Hold your positions. Keep the pressure on. We are not just fighting for survival. We are showing the galaxy what humanity is capable of. Ava smiled, sweat on her brow. It's beautiful, Captain. We're taking a legend and making it ours. In less than an hour, the human crew had routed fleets that had once ruled entire sectors. The surviving aliens fled, leaving the humans and their ship victorious. The birth of a legend word of the victory spread fast. Across the galaxy, species who had ignored or mocked humanity were forced to reconsider. Humans were not weak, nor were they naive. They were adaptable, inventive, and unstoppable when they refused to quit. The Valtoran was more than a weapon now. It was a symbol, a reminder that even a forgotten, abandoned relic could be reborn through human ingenuity and perseverance. Elias and Ava stood on the bridge together, looking out at the stars. Think they'll come back? Elias asked. They will, Ava replied. But next time they'll know not to underestimate humans. And the ship? Elias said, patting the console. She's ours now, Ava said, and she's ready for anything. A new era, the Valtaran became the spearhead of human exploration and defense. Fleets once terrified of human expansion now hesitated, wary of the ancient warship in human hands. Humans had taken a forgotten relic, mastered it, and transformed it into something no alien empire could ignore. But beyond power, the real lesson was clear. Humans thrived where others gave up. When others saw hopelessness, humans saw opportunity. When others saw failure, humans saw potential. Across the galaxy, the story of the Valtaran became legend, a warning and inspiration. A warning to those who underestimated humanity, and inspiration to those who dared to dream beyond limits. And somewhere deep inside the ancient ship, its AI hummed quietly, learning, adapting, and watching its human masters. For the first time in centuries, it was alive, and it had chosen its crew. The sleeping Titan had awakened, and humanity had forged it into a galactic superweapon. The stars themselves seemed to acknowledge it, shining a little brighter as if bowing to the stubborn, brilliant species that had refused to let history die.